We are in the middle of the biggest legal showdown over copyright since the internet first booted up. And right at the center of it all is generative AI. The next couple years, they're not just going to tweak the rules, they're going to completely rewrite the playbook for tech, for creativity, and for information itself. This is AI's great reset.
To really get why this matters so much, you have to understand the sheer scale we're talking about. 100 million users. ChatGPT got there in just 2 months. That's not just fast, it's completely unheard of. It's a seismic event, showing how a new technology can just embed itself into the fabric of our world almost overnight.
So what's the magic sauce here? What's fueling this incredible explosion? Well, it's not magic, right? Every revolution runs on fuel. And for generative AI, that fuel is data. Just unimaginable, staggering amounts of it. And that, right there, is where our story really kicks off.
And this brings us right to the heart of the problem, the AI data dilemma. See, these models get smarter by essentially hoovering up everything the internet has to offer. Books, articles, art, code, you name it. But what happens when that stuff belongs to someone? When it's protected by copyright? Well, that's the massive legal headache that courts everywhere are scrambling to solve right now.
Okay, let's get just a little bit technical for a second, because it's super important for understanding the legal fight. You might think an AI just copy-pastes a book into its brain, but that's not how it works at all. An LLM analyzes all that text to build this incredibly complex statistical understanding of how words and ideas connect. It's not storing the book itself, it's storing the patterns. And those patterns are captured in mathematical parameters called model weights. So think of it less like a library full of books and more like a deeply intricate map of language.
And this is where the two sides are drawing their battle lines. On one side, you have the AI companies. They're arguing that creating these model weights is transformative. They say, hey, we're not republishing the book, we're learning from it to create a new tool. But on the other side, you've got writers, artists, and creators firing back, hold on a minute. Your amazing tool wouldn't have any intelligence at all without our original work. It really boils down to that fundamental clash. Is it transformation or is it unauthorized use?
So this leads us to our first huge legal question. If an AI creates a piece of art all by itself, who actually owns the copyright? Now, the legal system, at least in the US, has had a pretty clear rule for over 100 years. To get a copyright, you need a human author. There has to be that spark of human creativity. That's the bedrock principle. But what happens when the creator isn't a person at all?
And hey, this isn't just a theoretical debate. It's already been tested in court with the Thaler case. A computer scientist tried to copyright a piece of art made by his AI, which he named Davis. The Copyright Office said, nope, no human author. He fought it, it went up the legal ladder, and eventually the Supreme Court just declined to even hear it. And with that, the ruling was set in stone. The outcome is now a crucial precedent. In the United States, if a work is created entirely by an AI, it cannot be copyrighted. It belongs to the public domain.
Now for the second question, and honestly, this one is arguably even bigger. We're talking about the billion-dollar issue at the heart of everything, the great training debate. Is it legal to train an AI on copyrighted material without getting permission first?
And if this debate is a heavyweight boxing match, the main event is absolutely the New York Times versus OpenAI. This isn't just another lawsuit. This is the case that could set the rules for the entire future of AI. The shockwaves from this decision will be felt from Silicon Valley to every single creative industry on the planet. So what makes the Times case so potent? It comes down to one word: regurgitation. They found they could prompt ChatGPT to spit back entire sections of their articles, nearly verbatim. Now, for lawyers, this is what you'd call evidentiary dynamite. It just blows a massive hole in the defense that the AI is only learning. It strongly suggests it's also memorizing and, copying.
The main shield for AI companies is the fair use defense. Their argument is basically, an AI training on 1 million books is just like a human student reading 1 million books to learn. But regulators are starting to push back on that idea. The US Copyright Office itself has flat out rejected that analogy. They said that the way a machine ingests and processes text is fundamentally different from human learning. So that argument is standing on some very shaky ground.
And you've got to remember, this isn't just a US problem. This is happening everywhere. And the craziest part is that all the major global powers are taking completely different approaches, which is creating a legal minefield for a technology that's supposed to know no borders.
Let's just quickly break it down. In the US, as we've seen, it's a legal cage match over fair use. In the European Union, they're taking a regulatory route.
They're saying developers can mine data, but, and this is a huge but, creators have the right to opt out, and companies have to be transparent about what data they used. And then there's Japan. They've gone in the complete opposite direction with a pro-innovation stance, explicitly allowing copyrighted works for training to make their own AI industry more competitive. 3 major powers, 3 totally different philosophies.
So with all these court battles raging and all these different rules popping up around the globe, what actually happens next? What does this mean for creators, for the big tech companies, and for you and me?
All right, here's what you need to watch for. First, get ready for the rise of clean AI models, trained only on licensed or public domain data. Second, if you use AI to create anything, documenting your own human input is going to be absolutely essential if you want to claim copyright. Third, the industry is splitting. You've got the litigants like the New York Times suing, and you've got the dealmakers like the Associated Press signing licensing agreements. Also, governance is no longer just a buzzword. Courts now demand to see how these models are being controlled. And the bottom line, if the big lawsuits go against the AI companies, development could get a lot slower, and these tools could get a lot more expensive.
So as we wrap this up, we're left with this one final, massive question that hangs over everything. We can all agree AI is a tool, an incredibly powerful one. But in this brand new world, when that tool is used to break the rules, who's ultimately responsible? The person who used it? The company that built it? That's the question the next chapter of this story is going to decide.
Believe me, this conversation is just getting started, and it's going to affect every single one of us.
Hey, if you found this explainer helpful and you want to stay ahead of the curve, please do us a huge favor. Like, share, and subscribe to KYC AI Labs. We've got way more deep dives coming on LLMs, Agentic AI, and the future of technology. Thanks for watching.